the choice is yours, but whatever you do, you are going to get the reward for it.
Yes.
The universe doesn't play partiality with anybody. You get what you put in it.
Yes.
Talking of that, I want to talk about, I want to ask you something relating to the tool set. What do we need to be able to succeed in our content creation? Because now you are going to create content, but you are not going to create it in your head.
Mm.
What do we need in terms of the physical resources that we need to be able to put what we have in our head out there to serve people so that they can pay us? Tell me about the tool set.
All right. I suppose there's always the question why, right? I think that's where everything's just, you should start whatever you're doing, whatever you're making, whatever you're selling. Why am I doing this? Invariably your why will focus on what your customers need. I have people ask me every day, how do I say this? How do I say that? I'm just like, ask your customers, understand, or at least understand what they want you to speak about. What's the problem they want you to solve for them? Mm? And that's it. That comes down to the why. Why are you doing it? Why you're doing it because to help your customers primarily, and then what do your customers need? Now, once unless you know what your customers want and need, there's still a world, my friend. You can still create content and hope for the best. Some content they might not even know they need, right? They might enjoy it. There's a benefit to that, right? Whereas there's content that is meant to help them that you want them to pay for, especially. You see, so I suppose you gate that and you put a price on it. But and when the reason they pay for something is because they can see a value in it. They can see it's going to help them to do something. So you can create your content according to what your customers need. And then from once you know what they want and what you want to create content about, it's a process, I guess. There's many tools that you can use. If we're talking written content, obviously, you need a way to do some research. You need a way to, not to just create spammy content. Spammy content is the worst thing ever. And people do it every day. And now we're just about to head into the world of AI, where AI can write blogs for you, for example. Everyone thinks it's an easy way to write blogs because now you just enter your question to ChatGPT or PT, what they call themselves, right? And they write the blog for you. It's great, except the content is very, it's got no nuances, and the word is very nuanced. The word is full of if this, then that sort of way of thinking. A lot of good content is based on experience, real experience, humans speaking about their experiences and sharing what they've learned and how they've gone about things. So I'm saying that if you can factor all those things into your content, you're halfway there. And if you just choose a cheap, I'll just write spammy content full of keywords because they rank on Google, it's not going to get you anywhere. Because now Google is well aware of of rubbish content, and they will punish you for it. But in terms of the tools, it's to say a lot of it is in your mind. It's in your mind to start off with. Your mindset. If it's to help customers, you are going to be closer to doing something good. So start there. The process is what it is. If you know better than me about how to create video content. I'm saying that, but that's just a set of tools you need. And if you need tools, then get what you need, pay for them. Sometimes not everything's free. And obviously check in to make sure your content is accurate, is useful, is what you intended, what the customer needs. That's all part of the process. That's the best answer I can give you in terms of creating content. I create content every day. I create loads of content. And I have tools. Some of them, it's just it's more there's more me making sure I'm comprehensive. Like this podcast, for example, I try and give you full answers rather than give you sound bites. I don't think I've tried to sell to you yet at all. It's because that's not my goal to help people by being with you. So, if that's your intent, then normally you achieve more. But that's the main tools I would say you need.
I'm also interested on something else that you already have made mention of a number of times, which is SEO, getting your work to be found there. Because if you just create it haphazardly without intentionality, without be precise
Mm.
of what you want to achieve with your content, it's going to haphazardly be there. There is no pattern around it. If you are going to be sure that you know what you are doing, you are going to make use of certain tools.
Mm.
So I want you to tell me about the role of SEO in content creation.
Yeah. Again, this is one of those. It's a critical thing. You need SEO in your content creation. Obviously, because the problem you have is that Google has to put your content above all others to show your content. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a challenge given numbers of people writing content, right? So you're not competing against one person who's writing about what you're writing about. You're competing against thousands, sometimes millions, right? And the fact that there's tools, there's machines, there's AI that can essentially scour the internet. They can find which content exists. They can work out which headlines, which titles people click on, and they can work out which keywords will help you rank for that content. So you're competing against machines essentially on one end, and geniuses on another end. The geniuses combine the human abilities with the machine intelligence. Don't think you're playing a simple game. This is the internet. This is a global marketplace. You're competing against big people and big things. So SEO is such a complex web. It's such a complex web. I remember when I was growing up, you have to SEO was keywords. Like I just said, titles. You had to have the right H2 headings, that second heading, third heading, and even more subheadings along the way. And you have to have the right description. Right. We've moved on from all that, by the way. We've moved on a long way. Now, and I say the problem with SEO today is that what was working yesterday is not going to work today. It's not going to work tomorrow either. Google now tells you very clearly, write useful content. Whatever you do, write useful content. In other words, write, like I just said, about what your customers want to know, what will engage them. Because people make the mistake of writing for Google, and Google doesn't read any of your articles. They don't really care. All they want to do is just show the people who are searching what they're looking for, what's going to help them. In Google's world, all they want me to come onto Google, do a search for, okay, where do I buy, the best basket, for example. And Google says, right, go to this place, this website. It could be in Nigeria, it could be in England, it could be in America. And when I go there, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what I want. It's perfect. Here's my card. Are you with me? Bought, everyone's happy. What Google doesn't want is when they recommend someone, they show you a result, you go to the page, you look at it, and you go, and you run away. You click, you click close very quickly, you run off somewhere else, and then search again. And then eventually you get annoyed, and you go to another, then you go to Bing. It is a separate search platform. That's what Google really hates. Right? So it's how do you create the content that people want, that will make them stick on, that will make the people who find those pages stick there and give Google credit. Because then they come back to Google next time and goes, I'm looking for something else. Where am I going to go? Google, obviously. Because then once you go back to Google, you see ads. That's the whole point. This is the game we're all playing. Google wins because they show you more ads. You might click on one or two, maybe you won't. If you click on them, it costs the company money. Google makes money. Whether you buy or not doesn't really matter. But Google cares if they show you dumb results that you don't engage with. SEO used to be about creating, using keywords and hammering your content to get to the top of the page. Now it's more about quality. I'm not saying there's no place for, doing your keyword research. Now, I'm tempted to do keyword research. I'm tempted to do headline research. I do a vague amount of headline research to see what titles are out there. There's tools, like you mentioned tools earlier, right? There's a tool that I use to see what people are searching for on Google. It gives me a rough idea of the topic, of what they're searching for on each topic. I use those.